The forest was silent except for the faint rustle of leaves swaying under the gentle breeze. Buddha sat cross-legged beneath the Bodhi tree, his robes flowing softly around him like a calm river. His gaze rested upon the horizon, serene yet piercing, as though seeing beyond the boundaries of the present. As I approached, my heart wrestled with doubts and questions, their weight pressing heavily on my mind. Without turning, Buddha acknowledged my presence with a slight nod, inviting me to sit before him. "Teacher," I began hesitantly, "I come with a question that I cannot resolve within myself, though I have tried earnestly." His eyes met mine, deep and unwavering, carrying neither judgment nor impatience, only the vastness of understanding. "What troubles you?" Buddha asked, his voice steady, the sound of it as grounding as the earth beneath us. "I am lost in a labyrinth of choices," I admitted, unsure of which path to tread or what destiny awaits me. Buddha raised his hand slightly, signaling for stillness, and said, "The first step to clarity is to listen within." I fell silent, letting his words seep into the corners of my restless thoughts, though they still swirled chaotically. Buddha then picked up a small pebble resting nearby and held it out before me, a faint smile on his lips. "Observe this pebble," he said. "Its weight, its shape, its texture. Yet, is its purpose immediately evident to you?" I shook my head slowly, feeling the simplicity yet vastness of his question lingering in the air. "It does not matter," Buddha continued. "The pebble exists in stillness, in harmony with its surroundings, neither grasping nor resisting." He placed the pebble gently on the earth, then drew a single line in the dirt beside it with his finger. "Much like this line," he said, "choices shape paths, yet the path alone does not define the destination. Do you see?" I nodded faintly, grasping fragments of his meaning but still caught in the fog of my uncertainty. "You must understand," Buddha explained. "It is not the pebble's movement nor the line's end that brings peace but intention." He gestured toward the forest canopy, sunlight filtering through the leaves and scattering golden patterns upon the ground. "Every branch reaches toward the sun, yet no two are the same," he said. "Still, the tree is one." I pondered his metaphor, feeling the weight of my indecision slowly shifting, as if lightening ever so slightly. "Teacher," I asked cautiously, "how does one discern the branch to follow, amidst so many possibilities and conflicting desires?" Buddha closed his eyes briefly, as though listening to the silence around us. Before answering with deliberate clarity, "The path becomes clear," he said, "when you are still enough to hear the voice beneath noise, the truth within." I sat quietly, his words resonating within me like a soft ripple expanding across a still pond in my heart. "Shall I abandon all paths to seek only silence and simplicity?" I questioned further, grappling with his teachings. To seek possession is to invite division. To seek unity is to preserve what truly matters. True freedom lies not in renunciation but in understanding. My thoughts quieted, and the pressing weight of my doubts felt softer now, the clarity of his presence grounding me. "What you seek is not a single path," Buddha continued, "but the alignment of your heart with the steps you take." The forest seemed to hum with life around us, the sound of nature itself flowing in rhythm with Buddha's words. "A choice born from fear or attachment binds you," he said, "but one rooted in love and wisdom liberates you." I felt the edges of my doubt dissolve, his teachings leaving behind a luminous trail of clarity in their wake. Buddha gestured toward the path from which I had come, a faint smile curving his serene lips once more. "Return," he said softly, "not to decide but to listen within. The answer awaits where stillness meets the flow of life." I bowed deeply, gratitude spilling over my heart like rain washing over parched earth, nourishing seeds of understanding. Its fleeting nature makes it precious, and so it is with all things, Ananda. With each step I took back toward the world I had left behind. His teachings walked with me, steady and unwavering. Another day, another journey through the thriving markets of the city, teeming with voices and the vivid colors of trade. Buddha walked calmly amidst the chaotic energy, his disciples following closely, their expressions mirroring the serenity he emanated. At the edge of the market, a merchant approached, her hands clasped in respect, her gaze heavy with worry. Her name was Vishaka, a trader renowned for her wealth yet troubled by doubts that clouded her prosperous life. Honored teacher, Vishaka began, her voice laced with urgency. I come before you torn between duty and the yearning within my heart. Buddha stopped, his eyes meeting hers with a tranquility that seemed to hold the entirety of the bustling market. Still, speak, he said softly, for the heart's troubles lessen when brought into light and listened to without judgment. My trade has flourished, Vishaka explained, but I find no joy in accumulating wealth when so many suffer within the shadow of my prosperity. Buddha nodded, listening intently as the surrounding sounds seemed to fade, replaced by the rhythm of Vishaka's unburdening. I wish to give, she continued, yet my family fears that generosity may weaken the foundation of our livelihood. What shall I do? Buddha smiled gently and gestured toward a vendor balancing scales while weighing spices. The motions practiced and precise. Look at those scales, he said, and tell me what you observe in their balance. For therein lies your answer. Vishaka turned her gaze, observing how the weights ensured fairness, the delicate equilibrium dictating the outcome of the transaction. The scales balance two forces, she replied thoughtfully, neither leaning too far nor neglecting the other, each supporting the whole. Buddha inclined his head approvingly, his expression hinting at the wisdom he was about to unfold. Such is life, he said, a harmony of responsibility and purpose, each nourishing the other if held with mindful balance. But how do I align these forces? Vishaka asked, her brows furrowed with doubt, for they often seem at odds within me. Buddha gestured toward an ancient fig tree rooted near the marketplace, its branches extending gracefully over a well-trodden path. The tree feeds upon the earth, he said, yet gives shade and sustenance freely, never ceasing to nourish both itself and others. To give is not to take away, Buddha continued, his voice imbued with calm certainty, but to circulate abundance, renewing its essence. Vishaka looked at the tree, her heart stirring as she began to glimpse the profound simplicity of Buddha's teaching. But, she asked hesitantly, will my family accept this shift in our purpose? Or will they see it as folly? Fear not their resistance, Buddha replied, for clarity born of compassion is a light that dispels even the darkest shadows of fear. A cool breeze swept through the market, carrying with it the mingling scents of spices and fresh produce. Weaving their presence into the moment, Buddha extended his hand and pointed toward the rows of vendors and buyers, their voices rising and falling like a symphony of human connection. Imagine this market, Buddha said, if each stall hoarded its goods, refusing to trade or share, would it thrive or falter? Vishaka considered his words, her mind beginning to see beyond the confines of her own fears and into the wider perspective of life. Trade is an exchange, Buddha explained, not merely of goods, but of trust, kindness, and purpose. Wealth, too, must flow to retain its vitality. Her heart began to lighten as she contemplated his teachings, the clarity of their simplicity dissolving her inner conflict bit by bit. Surely, it belongs to me. The Buddha raised his hand gently, signaling them to pause, and their voices fell silent. Vishaka listened intently, her doubts unraveling like knots undone by the steady hands of a weaver shaping threads into harmonious patterns. Let your giving, Buddha added, reflect wisdom rather than impulse, serving not only those in need but also the integrity of your purpose. Her heart swelled with determination, and she vowed to merge her trade with compassion, turning her caravans into vessels of service. Your family will understand, Buddha assured. When they see that wealth given in kindness returns manifold, enriching the soul and the world. The Buddha then instructed the children to lift the bowl together, each grasping it firmly but carefully. Lift this bowl as one, he said, for it requires unity to bear the weight of its legacy. The marketplace, alive with its endless rhythm of exchange, seemed a fitting backdrop for the transformation that had taken root in her. Buddha and his disciples resumed their journey, the setting sun casting long shadows that mingled with the light of understanding. Around him, the world carried on, yet those who crossed his path carried within them a spark ignited by his timeless wisdom. Another day, another night under the starlit sky, Buddha and his disciples rested by the riverbank, the water reflecting moonlight. The Buddha continued, "This golden bowl is but a symbol of something far greater. Its essence is unity and care." He knelt before Buddha, his movements deliberate, his head bowed low, his voice steady but charged with emotion. "Enlightened one," Devadatta began, "I have come seeking wisdom, for I find myself lost in the labyrinth of my existence." Buddha observed him quietly, his gaze unwavering yet gentle, a silence that invited Devadatta to speak further without fear or judgment. "My sword has protected many," Devadatta continued, "yet it has also harmed. I fear my path is one of destruction, not honor." Buddha reached for a fallen branch nearby, holding it aloft as his disciples looked on, their faces calm yet curious. "What do you see?" Buddha asked, his voice steady, the branch casting a faint shadow beneath the light of the crescent moon. "A dead branch," Devadatta replied, his eyes fixed upon it, its dried bark and hollow core reflecting a life that once was. "Indeed," Buddha said, "but even in death, it serves a purpose, returning to the earth that birthed it." He lowered the branch gently to the ground, its brittle form resting amidst the damp soil beside the riverbank. He turned to the father and said, "Your task now is to guide your children in nurturing these bonds, so they may flourish." The father, filled with gratitude and relief, bowed deeply and said, "Master, your wisdom has lifted the burden from my heart." "But, teacher," Devadatta asked hesitantly, "how can a warrior serve life when his role binds him to conflict and defense?" Buddha gestured toward the river, its currents flowing steadily toward an unseen horizon, its surface calm yet unyielding. "The river flows," Buddha said, "not to fight the rocks, but to carve its path through persistence, unity, and purpose." Devadatta stared at the water, its gentle movements speaking of strength that transcended violence, finding its power in harmony instead. "Strength need not harm," Buddha explained. When directed toward unity and protection, the family resolved to keep the bowl in a central place, cared for by all, a reminder of the wisdom they had gained. As the Buddha prepared to leave, the father and his children bowed once more, their expressions radiant with newfound harmony. The Buddha spoke one final time, his voice carrying the weight of timeless truth. "Remember, the greatest inheritance is not wealth or artifacts, but the love and wisdom passed from one generation to the next. Honor," Buddha said, "is not bound to tradition alone, but shaped by courage to redefine what truly serves the greater good." Devadatta bowed his head, the weight of his past beginning to lift, replaced by the promise of transformation and new beginnings. "Teacher," he asked, his voice steadier now, "how shall I lead if not with the sword but with the strength of peace?" Buddha pointed toward the stars, their distant light unwavering against the vast darkness that stretched across the heavens above them. "Lead as the stars," Buddha said, illuminating the way for others, unyielding in their purpose yet gentle in their presence. As he walked through the village, The Buddha observed fields overgrown with weeds, neglected due to unending quarrels and resentment. The elders approached the Buddha, bowing deeply, and pleaded, "Master, our people are torn apart by these disputes." Devadatta felt his doubts dissipate further, his path revealing itself through the luminous wisdom Buddha shared so effortlessly. True warriors conquer divisions, Buddha said, not only among others, but within themselves. For harmony begins in the heart. The night seemed to deepen in its beauty, the river's soft song blending with Buddha's teachings, their essence timeless and infinite. Devadatta rose, his hands steady yet empty, his pledge no longer tied to the sword but to the strength of peace. The villagers murmured among themselves, some angered by his words, others intrigued by the truth they sensed in them. A young farmer, his brow furrowed with frustration, stepped forward and said, "Master, how can we survive without securing what is ours? These fields are our livelihood." As dawn approached, Devadatta bowed deeply, his gratitude vast like the horizon that stretched before them, illuminated by new possibilities. The disciples watched as the warrior departed, his armor gleaming under the first rays of sunlight, a symbol of transformation and purpose. The Buddha walked to the center of the fields and knelt, taking a handful of soil in his hands. "This soil has nurtured life for generations," he said, "yet it asks for nothing in return. It serves without complaint." He let the soil fall through his fingers, watching as the wind carried it away. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.